hot flashes, power surges, or personal summer. We have nicknames to play off the symptoms of menopause and, believe it or not, andropause. But how do we really know how to keep them at bay? Here with some ways to determine what's behind your heat wave and how to cool it off is Dr. Jenny Wilkins, also known as Dr. Jenny from ageVital Pharmacy. Hi.
Hi, Nancy. How are you today?
Good. Welcome to our first show. I'm so glad that you're going to be with us all 13 weeks. And we have a lot to talk about.
I know. So many women and men are going to find answers to questions they're most embarrassed to talk about.
There we go. And of course, menopause is not one of the things that anybody likes to talk about, but we're going to start with that today and see how we can help our viewers.
Yeah, and menopause. Menopause is when a woman's menses pauses, meaning there's no more of these sex hormones that are regulating temperature, and this is where all of the side effects come from. The side effects of having insomnia, or you're losing your hair, and then this hot flash where women get hot and then they're cold and they're hot and they're cold. I have some women that come to my facilities, Nancy, and they say in the middle of the night they wake up in a pool of their sweat, and they're like, what is going on and how can my body be doing this? Like, help me please, I can't live like this. Or they're in a meeting and all of a sudden they start turning red and they get flushed and flustered, and you know, it's almost like this heart palpitative type of thing. It's not just the Florida heat, because I'm having a hot flash just, you know, coming here today with that Florida sun, but it's an actual temperature thing. So what in our body is regulating our temperature, our metabolism? So once women go through menopause, your estrogen goes through the roof, your progesterone starts to drop. So when you have this lack of homeostasis, meaning a lack of hormones being imbalanced, your hormones start to drop slowly, and with that, bad things start to happen. So it's typically linked to estrogen dominance. And here in this toxic country, I mean, we have xenoestrogens, phytoestrogens. Think of estrogen as like, you need a small amount of estrogen to protect your heart, but you don't need all of this abundance of estrogen that we're getting in our environment from our plastics, from our tap water, believe it or not. Our tap water has all these molecules. So when you're drinking tap water, I tell women, number one, you know, make lifestyle choices. Look at what you're drinking, look at what you're eating, and then avoid, you know, these key factors. So I tell people avoid, you know, certain prescription drugs because they're loaded with synthetic hormones, for example. That's going to mess up, you know, the ovarian cycle, your natural cycle.
So what if you're given these by a doctor? How do you change? Obviously, we come see you, but I mean, what should they do? They can't just stop taking their medication.
Right. This is when they start to advocate for themselves, when the patient becomes their own healthcare advocate. And I love empowering the consumer, saying, okay, I am not, you know, Premarin deficient. When women are going through menopause, doctors want to give them this Premarin pill. Right. And Premarin is derived from a pregnant horse's urine. That's disgusting. Why would we be prescribed that? Or they're given Armour Thyroid, and Armour Thyroid is derived from pig. It's like, we are not animals, doctors. We are not pigs. We're not cows. We're not horses. Why are you giving these supplements that have a longer list of side effects than benefits? That's when the customer goes to their doctor and saying, you know what, I don't need this. Give me something that's biochemically identical to what is naturally supposed to be in my body. And what are those chemicals? Chemicals like progesterone, for example, and the doctor can test for progesterone deficiency. They never test for Premarin deficiency or Armour Thyroid deficiency or birth control deficiency. Young women out there taking birth control, did your doctor ever test you to see if you're orthotricycline deficient or Depo-Provera deficient or Yasmin? There's no such thing.
There's a lot of things they have to look for. So how do we prevent them? Obviously, we change our medications. What types of things do we take,
So you
doctor?
ask your doctor, I want to look at real chemicals, look at my progesterone levels, look at my estrogen levels, look at my DHEA levels, look at, you know, adrenal function. The adrenal, sometimes that's the first thing when you're going through menopause. Your adrenal glands start to slow down, and then that starts a domino effect of different things happening systemically. So I tell women, you know, take supplements like vitamin B6 or adaptogens that help reboot the metabolism, that adrenal gland. And when a woman's adrenal glands are slowing down, the weight starts to get put on, and it's everywhere where we don't want it, in our hips, in our underarms, behind our thighs, the dimply tush. It's like, no woman wants that.
Telltale sign that you're going into menopause.
Right.
But what's this you were saying, the android?
The andropause. Okay. Yes, ladies. It's not just men, women going through it. Men go through what's called andropause. And andropause is the male version of menopause. So their androgens come to a pause. So testosterone becomes really low. And then you see men, they as they're getting older, they're less broad-shouldered, and you see them starts to slouch, and eventually their head's down, below their knees. By the time they get up to, become 80-year-old men, they look like skinny, toothpicks, and they have no muscle.
Yeah.
You give a man a shot of testosterone, their muscle comes back, their libido comes back, and then it gets rid of their hot flashes too.
Okay.
So hot flashes, men suffer from hot flashes.
So you brought some products. Are these just for women here, or are these men and
men and women?
Okay.
Now this is one that I personally take. This is called progesterone. I do a 10% cream, and so when the lab work comes back, Nancy, this is what women need for progesterone. Progesterone is like the female Valium, a natural Valium. So it gets rid of your anxiety, your nervousness, helps you sleep. You could apply it on your face and it gets rid of wrinkles. So not only is it getting rid of your hot flashes, it's making you younger and it's protecting you from getting cancer.
Awesome.
And for men, they're typically not worried about getting breast cancer, but they're worried about getting prostate cancer. So if they're having hot flashes, chances are they're deficient in progesterone, and that's a prescriptive one, and it's inexpensive. DHEA spray. DHEA is a hormone. This one's an over-the-counter one that you can spray in your mouth. It's a precursor to testosterone. So men, if they come, deficient in testosterone, they could just take a couple sprays of that. And women too, and it helps them with their libido.
And finally, what's this one?
The Adrenal Pro. So that helps them with the stress hormone. So once they start gaining that weight or they're having hot flashes, they take this Adrenal Pro and it gets rid of this Buddha belly. But I say, no one wants a Buddha belly.
Okay. All right. Things to look out for and things to get on my list.
I have it.
I'll come see you.
Every trip that I go on, this is like
Bring
my to
those
go.
with you.
Oh, absolutely. And if I don't take it, I'm like, where'd this little pooch come from? It's like,
Well,
oh, my
thank you.
hormones.
Thank you for being here today. And
Thank you for having me.
See you next week.
Sounds good.
Esther Holt with Star Financial joins us after the break. We'll be right back.